This week in games, Arkane takes a stand against Microsoft, Roblox is getting sued, and our predictions for Gamescom 2025. This is the Two Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 263. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Hi, how are you doing this fabulous Tuesday/Monday?
Connor, how great is Expedition 33?
I don't know. I haven't played it.
You haven't played it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
No.
fucking fascinating, Connor. It's the game of the year. It's your favorite style of video game. It's your favorite genre of video game, you know? And it's, heralded as one of the best of all time to ever do it. And you haven't played it yet.
You know, time creeps on. And with it are experiences. And that'll be added to my experience in life.
You're running out of time.
Eventually. Maybe for you.
I mean,
maybe enough time for what you would be able to accomplish.
You should play this game before the year is up.
Oh, believe me, I will. You don't even know that I will.
Connor, you're running out of time. There's like 3 games in October that you want to play.
Yeah, but Claire Obscure is taking a priority among some of those.
Claire Obscure is going to take some time. Not a lot of time, but some time.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You're going to get the great playthrough.
Well, Connor, regardless,
Expedition
we have
from
a
you.
review / plus spoiler talk video up on the YouTube channel right now, youtube.com/@TwoPennyGames. It's me and Phil talking all things Claire Obscure Expedition 33. And if you haven't finished the game, don't worry, you can still watch it. There was a clear point about 40 minutes in where we switch over to spoiler talk. So make sure you jump over there, go give that video a view, give it a like. youtube.com/@TwoPennyGames. And
Not going to be as good as Ghost of Yote.
Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to all things Two Penny Games, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on the Twitch feed, where Cruel Summy YT is in the chat talking to us over at twitch.tv/2pennygames, where we record all of our podcasts live every Monday afternoon, sometime after I get out of school, usually about 2 o'clock. And we're going to keep that 2 o'clock schedule for as much as possible. Recording when we move is going to be a tricky thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might miss a week or two.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, maybe. That's life.
Well, it's life. We'll figure it out. We'll do the best we can. It's not something to worry about right now. It's something to worry about later. Much like other things to worry about later, ladies and gentlemen, is September 1st when we come back with the Two Penny Game Club. That's right. Your monthly video game book club happens in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to play Kingdom Hearts Re-Chain of Memories. It is what we are playing for our video game book club series, the Two Penny Game Club, in which we play games in the background for a month and come to you at the beginning of each new month with a review and then rank it amongst the other games in the series. This month, the great spinner wheel chose for us Kingdom Hearts Re-Chain of Memories. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to be here for that one because there are some hard truths coming out on that episode. Things you don't want to miss, of course, because Connor, what was I? I was sold a false bill of goods.
Sale or goods.
A bill of goods. There were falsehoods on that bill. They.
Now, this is maybe a case of the Yelp reviewer making a bad review, misconstruing what exactly was, marketed to them.
On Yelp.
On Yelp, yeah.
On Yelp.
Those guys can be stupid.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. I don't know if I've gone to Yelp more than like 3 times in my life.
It's good for when you're at a restaurant and you don't know what the better things are on the menu. You just look it up.
You don't just go to Google reviews.
Yeah, but Yelp has here's the number 1 most liked item, number 2 most liked item.
All right,
breaks
sure.
it down.
All right, I guess.
With
Anyways,
review.
Kingdom Hearts Re-Chain of Memories. I will be finishing it tonight. I am 40 hours-ish into it right now. Yeah, total play time. And I'm finishing it tonight. I've already finished the Sora campaign. I'm finishing the Riku campaign tonight. Final level, final boss. They're ahead of me. I see the end goal. And I cannot wait to talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, September 1st. Mark your calendars. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on TikTok. And subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/@TwoPennyGames. And drop a comment down below so that we can get your 2 cents in to every video. That is because, of course, this is the Two Penny Games cast. Each week, me and Connor come to you with the nerdy news you need to know concerning the video game industry. We each give you our 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them.
We do.
So make sure you drop a comment down below so that you can get your own 2 cents involved in the show for next week's episode. I don't have any comments this week. There was no good comments this week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to step it up, try again, try harder, But, Connor, this show, obviously, we record every Monday afternoon, twitch.tv, like I said before. But if you miss the live streams, that's okay. You can find us over at youtube.com/@TwoPennyGames every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time, alongside mainstream podcast services of your choice. So if you prefer listening to your podcasts on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever, we're there on the mainstream guys, not on some of the other guys. We're not on SoundCloud. They were not involved in the media thing that I subscribe to.
So sad.
So go check us out. Make sure you like, subscribe. Links are in the description down below. Connor, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's get into our first topic of the day. This one is going to be your first penny of the day. So go ahead and take it away, my friend.
Arkane Studios union demands Microsoft divest from Israel over its genocide in Gaza. The union at Arkane Studios, the Microsoft-owned developer behind the Dishonored franchise, penned an open letter to the tech company supporting a list of demands to end its role in enabling the Israeli government's genocide and ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Quote, Arkane Studios' STJV section joins BDS and No Azure for Apartheid in their demands from Microsoft to stop supporting the Israeli regime, the letter partly reads. We think that Microsoft has no place being accomplice of a genocide. And as Microsoft employees, we don't want to be part of this sinister project for Gaza. Moreover, we think it's our responsibility as tech workers to raise the alarm and to ensure that our technologies are used to make the voices of the oppressed heard and not facilitate their demise. Finally, in a more direct manner, we think this could very well affect our life directly by reducing the audience for our games, thus directly compromising the viability of Xbox games, and in the long run, our very own jobs, end quote. Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, BDS, is a human rights movement focused on pressuring Israel and its supporters to cease its authoritarian and genocidal treatment of the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. In early July, the group called for a boycott of Microsoft products and services that have been attributed to the genocide. A report from the Associated Press, AP, shed light on how Microsoft Azure AI technology is increasingly used to identify Palestinians for targeted strikes. Quote, in the U.S., Bisecker, an AP reporter, obtained internal company data and documents showing Microsoft's close ties to the Israeli military, including how the use of commercial AI technology increased nearly 200-fold following the October 7th, 2023 attack, the article reads. The documents also revealed never before reported details of Microsoft's confidential $133 million contract with the Israeli military. May 2024, end quote. May 2024 saw the creation of the No Azure for Apartheid petition that has since gained 2,083 signatures from Microsoft employees to end IOF, Israel's occupation defense force, use of Azure systems, disclose ties to the Israeli military, call for a ceasefire, and protect employees. Quote, as technology workers, we are hyper-aware of the fact that our work, especially with the advancement of AI and cloud technologies, has the potential to enable any company and any organization to inflict harm and violate human rights, the petition reads. The products and services we build are being used and distributed around the globe to surveil, censor, and destroy. We cannot stand by while our labor is utilized to aid in the oppression of innocent people, end quote. Employees who spoke out previously faced retaliation from the company, like when Microsoft fired engineers Ibithel Abasad and Vania Agrawal, in April of this year for misconduct after they protested separate events. In October 2024, workers Abdo Mohammed and Hossam Nasir organized a vigil for Palestinian victims outside the headquarters in Washington, which quickly prompted their termination from Microsoft, with both being a part of No Azure for Apartheid. An October 7th terrorist attack by Hamas claimed the lives of 1,139 people and led to more than 200 being taken captive. Since then, Israel has used the attack to perpetrate an indiscriminate slaughter of Palestinians. Al Jazeera reports that 61,944 people, around 18,000 of them being children, have been murdered by Israel, although the number is thought to be much higher due to increased difficulty in tracking the death toll. Medical journal The Lancet estimates the death toll at around 100,000, as many Palestinians' bodies would be underneath rubble, unable to be counted. Reporting on the genocide grows increasingly difficult as the deaths of journalists reaches over 200, the highest death count of journalists in the 21st century, substantially outpacing the 69 journalists killed over the course of World War II. Pulitzer Prize winner Anas al-Sharif was killed by an Israeli airstrike, with 5 other journalists being slaughtered in similar attacks. Unsubstantiated claims have consistently been made by Israel accusing murdered Al Jazeera journalists of being affiliated with Hamas. Numerous civil rights groups like Amnesty International and the International Federation for Human Rights have described Israel's war as a genocide alongside scholars like historian Omer Bartov and genocide scholar Israel Charny. Israel has destroyed large swaths of Gaza's infrastructure while continuing to minimize space for Palestinians to live, as well as limiting access to food, water, and medical supplies in spite of international law. Distribution of aid has been given to the U.S. Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, where poorly managed aid sites have resulted in over 1,000 civilian deaths since the organization's operation in Gaza. Former GHF, that happened in May, by the way, GHF contractor in Green Beret Anthony Aguilar spoke to journalists on how he witnessed other contractors fire upon civilians, sometimes instructed to do so by Israeli personnel. Multiple statements have been made by Israeli officials dehumanizing Palestinians, such as when Israeli President Isaac Herzog said, quote, "It is an entire nation out there that is responsible. It is not true, this rhetoric about civilians not being aware, not involved." Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu compared Palestinians to the Amalekites, an enemy of biblical Israel that was ordered by God to be destroyed, including their animals. 99 health workers who worked in Gaza signed a letter calling for an arms embargo on the basis Israel is actively killing Palestinians. One signer, named Dr. Mimi Saeed, consistently saw children shot by IOF forces, a pattern noticed by other doctors like Feroz Sidhwa. Quote, "Kids would come in dead with single shots to the head," Saeed explains. There was no other injury on them. I mean, it's never normal to have a child with a gunshot wound in the head or her head or chest. They were children under the age of 12. That's something I saw every single day, multiple times a day, for the whole 4 weeks that I was there. So, got a little bit long-winded at the end there, but I found it important to do so. I wrote these stories for context.
Yeah, of course. If you want to, link is in the description down below. All the stories we read are written by our very own Connor Elliott here at TwoPennyGames, so you can go read those yourselves over at TwoPennyGamesNews.substack.com. But the main news in demands before I let you go, and I do want you to go, is Arkane Studio, now owned by Microsoft through their purchase of what is
ZeniMax.
ZeniMax,
yes.
Through their purchase of ZeniMax, is now specifically penning an open letter. Are they striking? I thought I saw something about a
Not
strike. No?
striking.
Okay,
but now that could be on the table.
All right,
their demands
they're
are met.
penning a letter to their now parent company, Microsoft, to cease the censorship,
the support,
or their tech company supporting of Israel
and protect employees, because as I mentioned in the article, people have been fired in the past, which is worrisome for these people because Arkane hasn't exactly been on the most strong run recently. I attribute that in part to Microsoft making them push out a game called Redfall, a live service game that Arkane is not known for making, and it flopped pretty hard.
Wasn't Xbox's like inception. Like, they were working on that game prior to being acquired.
That's true, but the failure of it did lead to layoffs at the time of Arkane Studios and personnel. And the fact that they're calling out their company when we already have proven examples of people getting fired for doing the exact same thing is a bold move, you know? And we haven't seen a response from Microsoft yet. When journalists talk to them, they would basically just give them the basic PR spiel. They would redirect them to a site, I believe, for the most part.
I don't believe you'll ever hear word from Microsoft on this.
No, you will not. So, to the point of these developers striking, whether this will actually result in anything, even their firings, it's hard to say. But as you said, certainly Microsoft doesn't seem to care about whether their employees have an issue with the company's investment in Israeli military technology, because it is a ridiculous thing that has happened where AI has progressively been used more and more during a year, by the way, which they fired a number of other employees for the expansion of AI infrastructure, and now they're using that same exact technology to kill people across across overseas for profit. Because if you make a $133 million contract with anybody, you're going to serve their needs over what is right, especially in the context of a large corporation like Microsoft. 133 million, yeah.
Million, not billion.
No, not million. I mean,
interesting.
Yeah, I guess they probably
130 million seems just small potatoes for Microsoft, is my point.
Yeah, and which kind of enhances the fact of why are you supporting this when you shouldn't really be doing that at all. Go into the AI technologies, Palantir, AI technology base that is very much connected to the Trump administration, and Israel has been ramping up its technologies to be kind of seemingly at the forefront of its AI technology that determines targets. Of course, using that as an excuse that when civilians do get killed, they can blame it on the AI technology rather than them actively wanting to kill civilians. But this is just another facet of them using that form of technology to perpetuate genocide. And I really do need to, again, stress that it was brave for these people to pen this letter, because unions notoriously don't have a lot of protection over here in the United States. In a lot of places, they don't. And so there's a lot of anti-union tactics they could employ to fire them on the basis of some other bullshit that isn't clearly why they would be doing it, which is them speaking out against their evil overlord. And this honestly has gotten me to thinking that I should not really, even though it is small, as you point out, in the grand scheme of things, to give Microsoft money. Specifically, one of their demands was to cancel Xbox Game Pass subscriptions, which I do plan on doing. There's no reason to consistently give them money, especially if I can instead buy a game like Clair Obscur directly, giving it to the developers, rather than having a little bit of it go to Microsoft and their enabling of a genocide. Unfortunately, certainly in American society, due to how much we've supported it, it's been for the longest time common sense to support Israel no matter what it is they do. And thankfully, people are now starting to wake up, because when you have images day in and day out, this entire time the slaughter has been going on of not only innocent men and women, but children and babies lying dead with their bodies torn apart. Just recently, there was an 11-year-old girl. I saw the video, as clear as day, getting basically reduced into a rag doll when she was going to get water. No one else seemed to get hit by that strike, but somehow they prioritized the death of a little kid over actually attacking Hamas, which of course they use as an excuse to kill anybody and claim that they're Hamas after the fact. In fact, these exact same workers who signed this open letter could get called Hamas supporters tomorrow. Now, are they? No. I think it's Microsoft's own best interest to try and keep this on the down low.
They're going to handle this internally.
Yes. It's why they quickly fired those people that were protesting outside the office. Stop it dead in its tracks, send a message that you can't do these sorts of things, otherwise you're going to lose your job. And especially in our current economy, it's really valuable that people keep their jobs. And so it's even more devastating if you lose your job in this day and age, but what is right takes priority over what you may want to do. And clearly, that doesn't really apply here, since they want to speak out for what is right.
Yeah, I pretty much second everything you say here. And really the only thing that I would double back to or really emphasize is that Arkane should be praised here. It's not often that, people who are in such a vulnerable state, and I only call them vulnerable just because of the mass layoffs that we've seen from Microsoft specifically over the last 3-4 years now, have been huge. I think they alone have laid off something like 30,000 people in the last couple of years, mostly throughout their tech and software engineering side, and stuff like that. So, Arkane is a very small studio. They've already shut down the sister studio, Arkane Austin.
Yeah.
Or do I have that right? Or is it
it was Arkane Austin.
It was Arkane Austin. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Double check me on that one.
Of course.
But they've already shut down the sister studio of Arkane. Alongside, I believe that was the same shutdown that they did Tango Gameworks, if I'm correct. But it may have also happened later. I forget the timeline because these things happen so often. So you could very much see similar repercussions coming down the line here. Connor, you brought up yourself and in your article about key individuals being fired for being outspoken or for protesting the Israeli genocide in Palestine.
Which at that point, yes, it was Arkane Austin.
It was Arkane Austin that got shut down? Okay. And so, to be in a position where you're like, this is going to cost us our jobs, and do it anyway in an industry where nobody's fucking hiring right now, and, you're seeing mass layoffs across the board, mostly substantiated to corporate greed, but the world is suffering. There's just not a lot of money going around right now, specifically in the tech and specifically in the arts right now. I saw even independent studios that are quite small and run by, people that I think are trustworthy. Bethel Games most recently had to lay off some people, which was really, really unfortunate, and, gave the same thing that you say in the case of all these things of these are really talented people. If you need a recommendation, I'd be happy to give you one. And, I hope that we can find somewhere where these people can find their feet. But, times are hard. And so to just give a mega tech conglomerate like Microsoft any type of excuse to shut down another studio or make more layoffs or not so discreetly just fire people who are speaking out against company interests, it needs to be commended here. So I doubled down, tripled down on Arkane really doing what I perceive to be the right thing. It's really hard to perceive it not to be the right thing, I believe. And it's moments like this, it's people like this, it's groups like this that really show you that, hey, the good of humanity needs to persist over all of the other reasons why it shouldn't.
More important than now, since reporting on the genocide is going to become much more difficult. I mean, even basic accounts like ones that were aimed at children, one that was a guy who would plant vegetables and try and grow food for people. All of those people were killed in strikes by Israel. When those people die, it's for like you and me, people like those at Arkane, who are in far better positions, regardless of what punishment they may face for speaking out. It's the right thing to do.
Agreed. Moving on to topic number 2, Connor, one that is just as interesting, but a little less harrowing.
Yeah.
We move on to topic number 2, my first penny of the day. State of Louisiana sues Roblox over child safety concerns. Louisiana Attorney General Liz Muriel announced the state will pursue legal action against Roblox, an online gaming platform with a focus on user-created games, arguing it, quote, has and continues to facilitate the distribution of child sexual abuse material and sexual exploitation of Louisiana's children. Due to Roblox's lack of safety protocols, it endangers the safety of the children of Louisiana, said Muriel in an official statement. Quote, Roblox is overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth revenue and profits over child safety. Every parent should be aware of the clear and present danger posed to the children by Roblox so they can prevent the unthinkable from ever happening in their own home. The statement goes on to cite a 2024 report from Hindenburg Research that centered on inflated metrics and the concern of pedophiles infecting the platform. Specifically, the AG's Attorney General office focuses on the research group's uncovering of a Roblox group called Adult Studios, comprised of 3,334 members that shared child pornography and solicited underage users for sex acts. It's noted the group was accessible by simply typing adult into the search function, despite the researchers listing their age as being below 13. Roblox responded to the suit, which in part reads, quote, every day, tens of millions of people around the world use Roblox to learn STEM skills, play and imagine, and have a safe experience on our platform. Any assertion that Roblox would intentionally put our users at risk of exploitation is simply untrue. No system is perfect, and bad actors adapt to evade detection, including efforts to take users to other platforms. When safety standards and moderation practices may differ, we continuously work to block those effects and to enhance our moderation approaches to promote a safe and enjoyable environment for all users. The lawsuit's announcement that Roblox, I'm sorry, am I losing my mind here? The lawsuit's announcement led Roblox to alter its policies on romantic and sexual content to now prohibit content that implies sexual activity rather than solely explicit sexual materials. Furthermore, the company will prevent unrated content from being accessible aside from developers and users working on the experience. In addition to implementing technology that detects inappropriate scenes, Roblox will alter its social hangout games where players interact with other users at digital locations. Private spaces and adult locations like bars will only be accessible to users aged 17 and up that have gone through an ID verification process, as Roblox admits that that's when, quote, inappropriate user behavior increases in frequency. This isn't the first time that Roblox has come under fire for failing to protect children on the site. A 2024 Bloomberg article outlined that despite actions taken by the company to curb the amount of online predators, current and former employees told Bloomberg the large amount of incoming reports regarding child safety are impossible to keep up with. An issue exacerbated by a lack of resources provided to deal with the problem. 8 sources all claim this is a result of Roblox's prioritization of growth over child safety. Roblox has taken steps in the past to protect its underage user base, such as in July this year when a new update requires those 13 and older to submit a video selfie to access all features of its chat rooms like voice and text chats. Another safety feature implemented includes giving parents the option to limit children under 13 from engaging in voice chat and prevent children under 9 from playing content with moderate violence or crude humor. In February of 2025, Bloomberg discovered through a Freedom of Information Act request that Roblox is involved in an active investigation with the Securities and Exchange Commissions for yet unknown reasons. Quote, "We have confirmed with divisions of enforcement staff that there are responsive emails between enforcement staff referencing Roblox and that these emails are a part of an active and ongoing investigation," an SEC letter to Bloomberg reads. Louisiana is demanding restitution to the state while preventing Roblox from branding itself as a site with proper safety features. Listen, we are not Roblox people over here. Roblox is an incredibly popular game, especially with young children, and provides a lot of really cool creation and gameplay tools where, like Roblox says in their statement, where people of all ages can really learn and develop, artistic talent and skills with.
There's value in Roblox.
There's a lot of value in Roblox, but with its mass popularity with children, because it's free to play and because it allows users to basically dive into a bunch of free to play user created games and so forth, comes a lot of issues with that. And unfortunately, where there's smoke, there's fire.
When it comes to Roblox, I am probably not 100% accurate on the number, and I didn't include it here, but 54% of its player base are 16 and below. It might be higher than that.
I believe that. It's mostly children.
It is, And another thing I didn't mention is that there's a Dallas man who is suing Roblox because when he was 11, he was enticed by somebody on the site, and he was sexually abused.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and so Roblox, it is an issue. When the developers themselves who work there are saying they aren't doing enough for child safety concerns, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Because these things can be overwhelmingly solved by just putting a lot of money into it. But Roblox, and I see some other articles where the heads or big names at Roblox were like, dude, we're going so great right now. Profits are up. Clearly, that's what they care about.
Not you doing the Donald Trump hands when you say stuff like
that. Well, maybe, maybe sexual acts with children.
There might be some similarities in activities with the heads of Roblox and the current president of the United States, who is on a list that people for some reason stop talking about. That those names may or may not be on that list, and maybe that would be, huh?
Stop talking.
Oh, okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
The list doesn't exist. It's a hoax.
It's a hoax list. It's a hoax list that they ran a campaign on and demanded to be released as soon as that campaign, gained power. And then when they gained power, they said it doesn't exist. That's crazy. That's crazy that happened. I think that it continues to happen. Wow, that's insane.
The world works in mysterious ways. Like how you can have an entire platform that clearly draws children to it, and you have adults trying to have sex with them, basically. The crazy thing to me is you just have an adult studios group that's easily accessible, not even hidden, and they share sex.
Yeah, 3,000 members.
Yeah.
3,000 members. Yeah, you should be aware of what's going on in that group with that number of players.
You should. And they've rescinded the ability for their employees to deal with it. I mean, they mentioned that they asked for more funding. They asked for more support in performing their duties, and they didn't do it. And now, the silver lining to this is that Roblox is being punished. We're clearly not caring enough about protecting children because they immediately were like, oh, wait, no, we're doing other things. See, I've noticed that whenever the heat is turned up on Roblox, that's when they really start talking and pushing a lot more for their child safety protections. And for good reason, because they don't want to lose money, which is why it's important for I wouldn't think the state of Louisiana the courts of the state of Louisiana would be doing something good, but they are. I actually looked into, I focus on politics a lot. I was like, what did this AG do? What bad thing has she done in the past? Nothing really. Surprisingly.
When I read your article when you initially posted it, I had questions about Louisiana that now I'm just failing to recollect. So, I'm not going to go there. But I don't have enough information, but the internet is a dangerous and scary place. We know that. We've been known that for years and years. It's only getting worse with AI. So a lot of these protections, I'm sure, are very, very difficult to establish and put in place and make effective. But it's better to put in protections that maybe don't work in certain ways than to have no protections at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's better to have a net up, even if the net is easy to get through, than have no net at all. Mm-hmm. And right now, whatever net they seem to have up, one is not working, and two, it's not enough. You could be doing more. Specifically monitoring any groups or forums on your site or app or whatever you want to define Roblox as, that has thousands of users on it and can be easily searched and found, and is especially the ones that are available to children, under the age of 17 or below or whatever. Really anything like. I mean, there's so many examples. Fortnite, Destiny, of places of people doing their best to help protect users in general, not just children, but users in general from any form of harassment or assault in any case. And, Roblox, you as the most, if not the most, one of the most popular games or places for people to be online, you have a responsibility to protect those people and to protect those users, especially when so many of them are children. Mm-hmm. So many of them are children. And it's very, very disappointing that, I believe we covered the story when the SEC investigation was first unveiled.
Yep.
We covered that. And it's unfortunate that we're now getting an update to that story, and it's not in the right direction. It's not in a good direction at all. So that's really, really concerning, and I hope that we can be on the other side of it quite soon. Now, Connor, I don't have a clear segue into our third topic here, and so I was curious in which way that you would want to handle it. We're gonna go ahead. We have Gamescom coming. Is happening this week. And by the time you're hearing this, Gamescom opening night live, the live stream that Jeff Keighley hosts, is happening in a matter of hours. And there's been a fair amount of hubbub around Gamescom this year. Gamescom usually not the biggest thing in terms of announcements, in terms of exciting announcements in which you'll get like video reactions to. Usually just not the most interesting event to happen, but this one has a little more weight to it. With the disappearance of E3 and things like that, Gamescom becomes a place to focus. Gamescom usually is just a place for a lot of developers to come in, bring their games, and for people to go in and try them out and check them out and all those things.
Yeah.
And so we get a lot of previews. We get a lot of I played XYZ games out of Gamescom. We get a lot of, hey, this game's looking great. This game's not looking so hot. We can expect delays or cancellations, anything like that. You get a lot of really cool information, but it's not normally something that's worth a news thing. But this year, Keighley has come out, and I'm defining this as my second penny.
Okay.
And my final topic of the day. But only our third penny of the day. So let's talk about what we can expect at Gamescom. Now, this year's Gamescom, it's reported by VGC, will have more than 1,500 exhibitors for the first time ever. Gamescom exec says it was never in competition with E3 and has a responsibility to step up now that it's gone. And I guess that's what they're trying to do with the amount of like splashes that they've been making in the media of like, hey, come pay attention to us over here now.
Yep.
Gamescom claims there is record high interest from games companies in attending this year's event. Jeff Keighley has already announced for his opening night live presentation tomorrow, but by the time you hear this on YouTube, in a matter of hours, he's announced
the 20th.
No, it's
Wednesday.
It's tomorrow. It's Tuesday. It's tomorrow.
Oh, I'm just thinking of the Microsoft showcase.
Is there a Microsoft showcase on the 20th?
Yeah, they were gonna.
It's also worth noting that at the time of recording, there's a Nintendo Direct for Kirby's Air Rider will be the focus. It's 45 minutes. I don't know if they're spending the entire 45 minutes on Kirby. They might. That'd be weird. But, go off. Is happening tomorrow at some point.
And Nintendo is appearing at Gamescom. So it would make sense that whatever it is we're seeing in that direct, we'll have people getting their hands on it at Gamescom.
Probably. And I also imagine that there will be quite a number of release dates probably given within the next couple of weeks that are really like, figuring out or rounding out the rest of the year and what can be expected. So things like Metroid Prime 4, things like Kirby's Air Riders, anything else that you could think of that doesn't have a date right now. Currently, things like Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is said to be there. There was another one. Where is the...
People are...
I'll find it.
Hollow Knight Silk Song has apparently going to make an appearance at Gamescom. People are... Well, I hope it doesn't come out this year, since we have a fantasy critic that relies on that game not releasing. But it could. They haven't rescinded that it was coming out, because originally, I think it was the director said that it's not tied to any specific launch, even though it's marketing-wise being very much tied to the ROG Ally, the Xbox Ally, its new handheld device. It'll come on its own time before Christmas.
And to be fair, Hollow Knight Silk Song is going to be playable at Gamescom.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
There's a chance that, yes, we do finally get a release date for Hollow Knight. I'm not betting any, I wouldn't bet on it, personally. I'm going to bet that there's just going to be a lot of demos played, and a lot of people are going to go, it's fucking great, can't wait for it to play. Yeah, it's going to be great. Can't wait to play it eventually at some point. Games Keighley has confirmed will be at Opening Night Live: Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Resident Evil Requiem, The Outer Worlds 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, Silent Hill F, Ghost of Yotei, and World of Warcraft Midnight. And then also a peek at Prime Video's Fallout Season 2. I've been thinking about going and finally watching Fallout Season 1.
Yeah,
I saw a clip the other day. It looked fucking dope. So I'm thinking about checking that out.
Seems like a fun show.
Like a fun show. Now, in terms of like excitement and not spoiling what you have to present, if Hollow Knight's getting a release date, it's going to happen at an event like this, but it's going to happen on the big live stream thing, whatever. So keep your eyes out for that, of course. If I were to bet money, these are the biggest names you get, and anything other than that aren't going to be very interesting past that. I think they are not spoiling, but I think they're telling you the most interesting things that are going to be there right away. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything hidden. I don't think there's anything that we are like, oh, I can't believe that's here thing. Like, this is one of those things that they say, hey, these are here. Expect things from these games. And sure, there's going to be smaller stuff in between that'll be cool to look at or whatever. But I'm almost certain the reason they're not saying those things is because they know we, the general populace, aren't really going to care about that. That's not what's going to get us to watch. If they had Hollow Knight, they would say Hollow Knight.
Mm-hmm. That is true, unless they want to do the big, we got something for you. And then, oh, crazy.
I mean, they always do that, you know? Yeah. It's always the, but make sure you tune in for more,
And, I don't think, of course, it's going to be as big as something like Summer Games Fest with people coming in to see what new games are revealed. It's certainly more for the game developers and the publishers themselves to get their game out, get some feedback on it, and for us to read whatever previews will be coming out from games journalists. So it'll be an interesting event, but it's not like the event that you're focused, that you're waiting and going to watch in a group chat with a bunch of other people.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go through the list of what Keighley has confirmed will be at Opening Night Live, because that's the most interesting part, is the big live stream. It's 2 hours.
Yep.
So we are not doing a react to it because we don't have the time for it. And so let's break some of this down. Call of Duty Black Ops 7. We got that one reveal at the end of SGF. No, I'm sorry, the end of the Microsoft showcase during SGF. And we both said, this is a fucking fascinating trailer for a Call of Duty game. We were very, like the rest of the world, was very shocked that trailer ended with the announcement of Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I assume we get more. Mm-hmm. I assume we're getting a story trailer. I assume there's going to be some like gameplay things shown off. And I also imagine it's going to be a little more traditional in tone. If I were to expect, I think it's going to be more wild than what you normally get out of Call of Duty, but I'm expecting now we're going to be, all right, here are the guns, here are the robots that you shoot, here are the, all the future science stuff that are happening in this game. And then they're going to end it with a, oh, but what is the dark secret with the guy you're playing? Are you playing as Mason?
No, Mason's son?
or something like that.
Yeah, something like
What's
that.
the dark secret, the backstory of this character? And then the fucking butterfly will come back on the screen or something like that. So like that's what I would expect. I don't think we're gonna get any multiplayer deep dives or anything like that. I don't think there's anything multiplayer wise to really advance on after Black Ops 6 last year. You know, first time we've ever had a back-to-back series, back-to-back sequel of the same sub-series within Call of Duty, you know? So I expect it's just going to be, you know, a semi-hefty update to the multiplayer, and then the real big thing that they're going to be pushing is their narrative, their story campaign, whatever that's going to be, which Black Ops 6 did get praised for its story, so hopefully they can turn around and they have another great story heading our way, you know, this holiday season. Now, Connor, anything to add on to that?
Simply that maybe we will be getting the most unique Call of Duty that's ever existed.
We'll see. We'll see. When is this coming? Now it's Call of Duty, so it doesn't really matter. You know, Call of Duty is going to do Call of Duty numbers no matter what. I imagine we're going to be hitting, because October is cramped. You know, we looked it up before the show. You've got Ghost of Yotei. You've got Battlefield 6, Mina the Hollower. There's something else Outer Worlds 2. All coming within October. So you got a lot of things. Now, granted, most of these things, with the exception of Battlefield 6, not on Call of Duty's radar. I don't think Call of Duty cares if they compare with Battlefield either, because they've fought that fight before and won, very, very much won that before. So we could be looking at an October release. I would probably bet November.
I would as well. They've released them either in October or November in the past.
That's their MO. Yeah. It's one of those 2 months.
And November's kind of empty from what I understand. December has some, but October's really the last hoorah.
I don't
unless
remember.
Gamescom changes that.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, and this would be the time to change it, you know? And I just think the most anticipated games of the year are, if they are coming in November, are going to be on the Nintendo side. Resident Evil Requiem. Of course, that's coming February. Yep. Am I right in that? February of next year.
We did get a showcase recently, didn't we?
Yeah, where they kind of went in depth and they showed moments of gameplay and so forth, really just showcasing that they are doing both the third and the first person, and, you know, highlighting their new protagonists and so forth. I think we get a little bit more of a hefty gameplay demo out of this.
Yeah, I imagine we would.
I think it's going to be, you know, one of those, like, we're scripting out, you know, the beats that we want, and, you know, the flashlight is, you know, slowly panning over this part of paneling that's covered in blood, and, you know, we're trying to get the scares going and stuff like that. So we'll see that, and then, you know, some mild shooting at whatever the monsters are that we are fighting in this one. You know, whether they're zombies, whether they're, I don't know, whatever else they want to go for with this one. I think this is where we get a definitive, oh, okay, I know what to expect here. I don't expect Resident Evil Requiem to blow anyone's hair back. I think the stories of sort of the rebooted game production that they had to do with it, you know, they were talking open world, they were talking about making all these changes to design and formula, and then decided, no, let's make a Resident Evil game that fans will like. Fucking smartest move they could have ever made. So I'm expecting a quality game, but I'm expecting it to sit within the range of Resident Evil Village, probably. I'm not expecting an RE2 or RE4 remake surprise of like, oh shit, you know?
Yeah, the only way it would rival those if it has a particularly great story, which it does seem it's very narrative focused, but yeah, I don't think the gameplay of this game is going to really be the most standout in the Resident Evil franchise.
Now, I mean, it's always possible, because, you know, the return to Raccoon City would elicit the idea that we are going to have that intricate level design that we had in the early Resident Evil games. That's what I like from Resident Evil, is the intricate level design and so forth. Returning to the RCPD, returning to the streets of Raccoon City, you should have a kind of decent balance between new stuff and old stuff of like, oh, the door to this puzzle you would have solved in Resident Evil 2. Remember the I don't know, the 3 medallions to get into the basement of the RCPD. You still got to get to the basement, but, you know, now you got to figure out a new way in there because the old way doesn't work. A la something that we kind of saw in Silent Hill 2 remake, where it was like, oh, this is how you would have solved the puzzle in the original game, but we're going a different route this way. Something like that, you know, especially because Resident Evil 2 being, I mean, not the most recent thing ever, but you know, still fresh in a lot of people's minds. You know, you would want to see things like that, and from Resident Evil 3 of like, oh, this is a location we visited in that game. Maybe we go back to the hospital of Resident Evil 3 remake and go, oh shit, it's all fucked up now because of the nuke. I don't know. Something like that. That's what I would hope for. All of this is stuff that I don't think will be presented in Gamescom at all. I think we'll get a cool trailer with some shooting guns and, scary looking monsters and some story beats that a lot of us will go, okay, I wonder what that's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't expect Requiem to be upheld as one of the great Resident Evils, but we'll see.
We will see.
I'm still excited. I've still got my hopes up, but realistically, no. The Outer Worlds 2.
We've seen a lot on that.
We've seen a lot on that. I don't need to see any more on that. Give me a cool, flashy trailer. Maybe some cool action in it.
More funny. They're going to make jokes again.
Or some way to intersplice like different ways that different scenarios can go based on player choice or something. A quick, no more than 5 minutes. No more.
That'd be even too much.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
3 is probably a better sweet spot.
Yeah, like a simple, nice, snappy trailer, and then you go to the next thing.
Ninja Gaiden 4, this one could go either way. I could see we could be here for I think realistically we're getting like a 5-minute trailer with a lot of gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
And then this is probably one of those times that Keighley invites developers on stage and we're going to have a talk and there's going to be a translator and because the guys are Japanese and there's going to be, talking back and forth of what we can expect. This is the one that we all go like when the trailer's playing, we're all going to go, man, that looks good. And then they're going to talk about it and we're going to be like, man, I'm bored. That's what I expect here. Hopefully cool. I'm personally not signed on to Ninja Gaiden 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for people who are excited, but me personally,
I thought the original showcase shows that it's going to have some nice depth to its melee combat. Kind of had a bit of Sekiro influence or Sekiro-like inspiration.
Well, I think they're trying to get back to what made Ninja Gaiden so great, and I think they're trying to elicit things of that Ninja Gaiden 2, specifically why they announced that alongside Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Earlier this year and released that. I think they're trying to be like, hey, we're trying to go for that, and that's upheld as the gold standard of 3D Ninja Gaiden games. So we'll see. Silent Hill F. We've seen so much of Silent Hill F
in a short amount of time too.
Yeah, just give us give us another trailer if you want. At this point, you're at risk of overshowing us what's happening with Silent Hill. I don't think you can show any more that will get any more people on board. So. Hopefully, they know that. Here's another cool 3-minute trailer. We're showing you a lot of things you've already seen. Nothing else.
The trailers are cool, but yeah, we just seen so much from it recently.
I still think Silent Hill F might be the sleeper hit of the year.
It has a chance to. There were some people, because there was the showcase of gameplay recently.
Yeah.
Some people were a bit hesitant because it had like a perfect dodge like mechanic, and then they went around the character and hit them with a pole. Making combat in Silent Hill different, let's say.
Sure.
Souls-like was more the word people were using.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it looked weird, and it could go either way.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I've played a Silent Hill game, like, my expectations are set.
Yeah.
Gameplay's not the thing I'm going here for.
No,
It's for atmosphere and cool levels and puzzles and mostly atmosphere.
Yeah.
A little bit of storytelling, but mostly atmosphere. I just want to feel my skin crawl while I'm playing a Silent Hill game.
Hopefully it'll do it.
Ghost of Yotei, this one, honestly, we could be here for a little while. That'd be okay.
People like getting this game shown off. They love it,
For
good reason.
I think they did a good job in that last state of play that it was presented of showing us what makes Ghost of Yotei cool, why we want to, affirming to fans of the first game of like, hey, you're still getting that. You are getting a Ghost of Tsushima, but now Yotei experience and so forth. I would like to see a little bit more of like, what makes this different than yours, So I don't know if this is a presentation. I don't know if this is just another cool gameplay trailer and so forth like that. I hope it's a little bit meatier. I do expect them to invite, who's the head of Sucker Punch? Is that Nate Fox? Or is Nate Fox over at Insomniac? Or formerly of Insomniac? Am I tripping? I think Nate Fox is over at Sucker Punch.
He would be the what? The CEO?
He would have been, either head or CEO or just creative director. I don't think that's right though. I think I've got my PlayStation Studios mixed up.
Brian Fleming.
Yep. There it is, Fleming. So yeah, I'm very excited for Ghost, but Ghost is one of those ones that I can just wait.
I'm sold. Most people are already sold on it.
When you say it's ready, I'll be there for it. But I'm not like.
Yeah, jumping up and down in your seat.
Yeah, I'm not like, squirming for it. I'm not, oh, God, I can't wait for Ghost. Hey, when Ghost is ready, it's ready, and I'll play it when it's ready, World of Warcraft Midnight, I have nothing to say about that.
Expansion, another Warcraft expansion.
Cool. It'll probably be a pretty neat cinematic trailer, and then the gameplay will be, animated guys, throwing little blasts out and so forth. Prime Video's Fallout Season 2. Now, other than those things, should we expect more? Again, no.
Yeah. Temper your expectations. This is not the big game award show.
I think genuinely the only thing that could come out of surprise is Hollow Knight. And I feel like they would say Hollow Knight if they had Hollow Knight.
I'll say that there at least has to be like one other title that down the line that is just trying to get the marketing rolling for it that we'll like. Whatever that is, I have no clue. But I think there'll be something there for us to chew on.
Could be more FromSoft.
We did hear that they were making another game, potentially.
Hear that we're making another game.
Now, there's some...
Could be... Where did Naughty Dog unveil The Last of Us multiplayer? That was at SGF. But it was still Jeff Keighley's stage. So I'm just curious if maybe this is where we see that unannounced God of War project that people were talking about. I saw headlines flying around today of more talks of this Cory Barlog game happening at Santa Monica happening. So something's coming from Santa Monica Studios. It feels time for them to at least show us what they've got going on. We've been hearing about this Cory Barlog game forever. And so I'm very much interested in to see what that will be. Connor, let me start just free aiming here. Let me just start shooting from the hip here. Maybe we see heavier crossover stuff for Helldivers 2. Maybe new event or something like that might be there.
Well, they just did the ODST announcement.
Yeah,
their collaboration with that.
So, maybe even reiterate on that or show us that it's going to be deeper than we thought.
I guess they could.
Of this Halo thing that's happening, whatever that's happening.
This is far-fetched, but news I got that released today is that NetEase Marvel is letting NetEase use non-Marvel characters for Marvel Rivals. So they're probably not going to do anything.
I don't like that.
Neither do I. No, but
I don't like that.
It's like almost like a Fortnite modern Call of Duty where they're just like, get the new thing in. And
now that you say it, Marvel Rivals seems like a shoe-in of announcing the next season or something like that, season 3 coming down the line at some point. It feels about time for that now that we've had both Emma Frost and Ultron have released, and we've had the entirety of the Fantastic Four.
Blade got announced. Did he get released or announced?
Blade
got shown off.
People have played him, so I don't know if that's in like the test servers or if he's in there. But people are playing Blade, so Blade's out here too. I'm really getting further and further away from Marvel Rivals. It seems harder and harder to go back to that now. But I could see the next season, getting a push in that sense. Do you think finally, Connor, all of these rumors have finally coalesced to the point to where we get an announcement? Halo the Master Chief Collection coming to more platforms?
No,
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
No. I think you wait until Gears of War is out and done, and then I think you could save Halo for easy points next year. In public consumption of people being like, oh, and we got Halo next year, or something like that. So it could come up here, it could come up Game Awards, it could just be a blog post like Gears of War was. It's probably just going to be a blog post like Gears of War was, But you never know. I'm shooting from the hip here, Con.
The article does just say don't bet against Kojima being there.
The Polygon article that I'm pulling to get the things here. I don't know where they're getting that.
Well, I mean, they just could. It's Jeff Keighley stage.
Yeah, because Keighley's there. I think we need to relax on the Jeff Keighley Kojima connection. I don't think that's as serious as people say it is.
Pretty serious.
I mean,
when's he not shown up at
listen, they're boys. They got a lot of respect for each other. I just don't think it's as serious as people say it is. Like, I don't think every time Jeff Keighley pops out, it means we got to start wondering if Kojima's going to be there.
No.
I don't foresee Kojima being here. And if I'm Jeff Keighley, I'm going, hey, man, can you just save this a couple of months for my event? Because Gamescom is not Keighley's event. Keighley just hosts it.
Yeah.
So if I'm Keighley, I go, hey, man, I know you got that OD coming down the line. I know you got Fizzink coming down the line. Can you just wait just a few more months to talk about it, and then you can come do it on my stage? That's what I would be like if I was Keighley.
So you said like,
hey, listen, I got Kojima's number. I'm using it.
And then you're just like, I don't think they're as close as you think they are. But he would completely change up when he's going to present his game.
Let me be specific. Every time, there's no reason to think Kojima's going to be there because Keighley's there.
But
now, there's a good chance if Kojima's there, it's a good chance Keighley is there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't work the other way. Not every square or every rectangle is a square. Not every square is a rectangle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I get that, but at the same time, you're saying that there's a chance Kojima would delay when he would announce or show off whatever he's got show off for Keighley's sake.
Right, but we're only saying that we've heard nothing about Hideo Kojima being in Gamescom, other than maybe he's just there to check shit out. You know?
Well, we have heard talking about like Fizzant and it's coming along in production. OD is as well. Fizzant seems farther along than OD. Potentially.
I don't know how that's happened. I don't even know how that's possible.
I think it's because OD's the one that's marketed more as it's different than like other usual games. Fizzant seems
it's gonna be his horror title.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
But how
Which is
the
what
horror...
we've assumed he's been wanting to make since 2013.
Yeah.
You know? And then Silent Hills didn't work. You know the story. And then got delayed and canceled, and then all these things have happened and so forth. And then, like, yeah, Fizzant, but also, like, some weird movie thing is happening with Fizzant.
Yeah.
And then this is just a spiritual successor to Metal Gear, which I do think after playing Death Stranding 2, he does want to make. Maybe it's just, sort of bread and butter, where you as a creative just always lean in that direction anyway. So I don't know. Vips in the chat, hello. I just don't see it. Not for Gamescom. I don't know why. Why would Kojima be there? And if he's there, what would he have to offer?
I don't think so.
Maybe some DS2 DLC of some kind, or an update where, hey, we're putting a new truck in the game, and there's a crossover with this IP coming to the game, or something like that.
And
that would be neat. But I don't care.
Probably wouldn't come for that, I would think.
I think he would only come for something as small as that. That's the only reason why Kojima would be on this stage, is for something tiny like this. OD and Fizzant are huge, and I want to be on a bigger stage that unfortunately matters more, despite Gamescom trying to matter more. But just because Gamescom's trying to matter more doesn't mean they matter more.
It's 11% increase in exhibitors.
Great for them. Fantastic. Gamescom still fills the hole of, we need that, late summer, early fall demo time. Yeah. That's the purpose. It's for demos and so forth. So yeah, I just don't see Kojima coming with anything at all.
Yeah, but which I think this will be a fine event. Gamescom 2025.
Yeah, throw it on while you're doing something else. Every time a screen goes black and you hear a dong, go, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, it's another anime game? I don't give a fuck about that.
There's a lot of those.
So many of those. Why do we allow them to keep coming in?
They're easy to market.
30-minute pre-show. Fuck. There's going to be a lot of garbage in this.
Don't watch the pre-show.
I mean, that's one definitely I'll have it on, and if something, starts grabbing my attention, I'll look at it. But, I'm going to be playing on my Portal, I'm going to have it on TV, and just fucking...
Anything that's not thing you don't care about.
Plus, I got to finish Death Stranding 2. I got to deliver these packages, Connor. I got to deliver these packages.
You gotta.
Moving on to our final topic of the day, Connor, your final penny of the day.
I would think you would have this penny because you're you, but...
Yeah, but I don't really care about this stuff. Take your time, Coop.
See, I never actually said a single bit of the title, and so my list is very accurate. It delayed it. It shut itself down. You know how these things work.
I don't understand what you're saying.
The app closed, and I have to open it up again.
The Google app closed?
Yeah.
Why did it close?
Beats the hell out of me. It randomly does it.
Did it crash?
No.
Because your phone is old as shit?
It's not even that old.
This is new. Oh, that's right. You did get it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yes,
I apologize.
You
You
got a
did
crack
get
in
it.
it.
I forgot.
The screen.
The screen's cracked?
Screensaver.
Oh, the screen protector?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is too. And I don't even know how it happened.
Sometimes they crack on their own.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy?
Apple does. You're not an Apple phone.
I'm not buying Apple screen protectors.
How do you know?
Is that
How do you
an
know
Apple
it's not...
screen protector?
No.
Well, then...
Director of canceled The Last of Us multiplayer, making similar game at new studio. Former Naughty Dog director Vinit Argawalm
is where I would go as well. Yeah.
Who had previously worked as game director on the scrubbed The Last of Us Online, spoke to Japanese publication GameSpark, where he disclosed his new studio is working on an ambitious multiplayer title. Quote, "We've been developing it for a few months now, and it's already playable," Argawalm said. "It is not ready to be shown yet, but I've been playing it with my friends every week. There's not much we can say yet, but our new game is a multiplayer game, and we aim to bring the cinematic action familiar from our previous works to the multiplayer between players," end quote. With a successful 10-year stint at Naughty Dog, Argawalm left a lasting impression on the gaming world due to his work in the final fights of both Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and The Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh, I do like those fights.
That's why I thought you might have some interest in the story.
Yeah, I do like those fights.
Argawalm describes the title as having, quote, a triple indie feel, while taking inspiration from Naughty Dog's style of AAA game creation that focuses on narrative. Quote, to be more specific, I worked on the final boss of A Thief's End and the fight between Ellie and Abby in The Last of Us Part 2, Argawalm elaborated. I used all my knowledge of multiplayer to create the feeling that you're fighting against a human. The main reason I wanted to create it myself was because I saw the potential in combining the cinematic action that Naughty Dog specializes in with multiplayer, end quote. The unnamed studio has 2 locations, one in Japan and the other in the United States, and currently stands at around 10 staff. The studio was founded alongside The Last of Us Online co-worker Joe Pettinati, who served as creative and narrative director on the canceled multiplayer game. Naughty Dog shut down production of The Last of Us Online in 2023 as the company's eyes got too big for their stomach, and a company-wide shift in the focus would be required to properly support the title.
Wait, that's how you interpreted how that story went down?
They saw the live service game, and they were like, ooh, live service? We can't do this. That's what it was. They didn't know how much it was taking. They didn't know what they were getting their shoes in.
That's a wild perspective to have, but okay. Do we need to keep going, or can we just keep talking?
And ramping up to full production, to release and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put all our studio resources behind supporting post-launch content.
This is their thing on the multiplayer thing.
For years to come, severely impacting the development on future single-player games. Naughty Dog's next entry is instead a narrative single-player game titled Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet that will put emphasis on deep action-adventure gameplay mechanics, particularly in comparison to past Naughty Dog IPs. Yeah.
Listen, man, we gotta have a talk about these studios that get formed by former AAA devs and then try and scale up to the fidelity that they're used to on a much smaller staff and budget. That's I groan every time they go, triple indie feel or triple I game or whatever like that, because that space is so hard to live in. If it's great, it's great. And by all means, I hope it's great. Now, if the game is literally just based off of the idea of 2 players fighting each other like how you fight in the end of those games, I don't know how much like
room.
Yeah,
there.
How much can you really run that out? I mean, and if it's just a multiplayer title, one-time release type thing, go right ahead. And then we're working on our next title or whatever. That's cool. It sounds great that they're getting it up and running and that are getting it to go as quickly as possible. You would need to figure out a way to make a story in a game like that interesting and to where, because the best part about those 2 fights in particular that they keep pointing out and also I think the idea that they're reviving the Last of Us Online game is a little bit disingenuous. These are Last of Us multiplayer devs working on a new multiplayer game in which they are taking notes from their work at Naughty Dog. It seems like from what they're saying, they're taking specifically pulling from the end of the final fights in those 2 games as their basis is how I'm understanding that.
I see it as something like For Honor. For Honor, for all of its faults, feels really good to get in one-on-one fights with somebody else. You're in... You're trading blows. You're getting dirty. You're not really getting dirty. But the point is, it feels really satisfying to fight another player on equal terms.
A lot of mud and blood in that game. There's a lot of mud and blood. People be getting dirty in For Honor. Sure.
They do.
Yeah.
Even to that point, Souls games, when you have invasions happen, it becomes very personal. And it becomes this, you're trying to step on my territory in my game. And I see them doing that as part of their inspiration, but them clearly working on The Last of Us Online for years and then having the rug pulled out from under them, not because the game itself was coming along poorly, but because, organizational structure of a company is suited to one type of game.
I think if that game was good, they would have released it.
They could have, but again, I guess that is true, but then again, that requires, a live service game, as they branded it, is one that's not supposed to just release and get you, a pretty check and then you forget about it. You're supposed to keep building upon it. So, while they could have, it might have taken another 2 years for something they don't see as having as much financial incentive for that game to release.
We'll see.
It's hard to say. I just see this as the passion going away due to reasons possibly out of their control, and then still being in the mood to make a multiplayer game. It's just that they have also their own experiences that make them want to create that feel of 2 people really going at it, which is kind of what you want for a multiplayer game. But The fact that it's indie and they've already played it, they've already started playing it now. I don't know how long it took for them
If
to
they're having
form the
fun, they're having
studio.
fun. Hey,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, but a good vertical slice or a good demo or a good early build, you know, doesn't make for a great game all the time.
Especially multiplayer.
A lot of games get greenlit and created based off of a great build that they had early in development, and then development happens and choices get made, and you know, you get an end product that may not be what the vision was or changed along the way. I don't know, 100 different reasons. Creativity works in that way, you know. So you know, we'll see, but what is this studio? Where
We do not know the name.
Do they have a publisher?
We do
Is
not.
anybody funding them?
To my understanding, they seem to be independent, but independent as far as a Patreon. They don't have a name.
Is anybody
They're a company.
funding them? Are they getting money from somewhere? Because how many times do we hear, oh, you know, former Last of Us devs, former BioShock devs, former Call of Duty and Titanfall devs, you know?
Well, I would think you would have some connection, especially someone like this guy who clearly worked on some of the more important aspects of these games that he was talking about, would have connections to be able to get some kind of financial backing.
Amy Hennig hasn't gotten a game out in almost 15 years.
That's true, but she's kind of a unique case where she's gotten screwed over. And
A
most
lot.
other big, I know a lot. But again, still more of a unique case, whereas a lot of other game developers with bigger names don't seem to have the same problems she does.
I mean, I mean, Ken Levine hasn't made anything since BioShock Infinite. Now, granted, that's because he's been in his own independent studio working on, what is this game? What is this game?
the one name,
Whatever. He's been working on this BioShock clone for the last, like, you know, fucking decade and a half. Post BioShock Infinite. Forever, and we're only just now seeing that, you know. So I mean, sure, you know, it's always possible, and I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer. If the game is great, I can't wait to play it, and I hope it's great, you know. I just don't foresee. I just might be pessimistic on the state of the industry and when we're gonna get games like this and so forth. And also, I think speaking specifically to those fights at the end of those games matters so much because of the narrative weight placed on those fights. You know, the mechanics are cool, you know, but you'd have to go way deeper into like actual, like, you know, pretty much essentially fighting game mechanics, or, you know, quasi For Honor-ish, like you brought up, in order to make those mechanically interesting. And then how, you know, great, you've got someone who worked on the narrative of those games as well. Are they able to hit that same, you know, heavyweight stakes that are in those simple fights that are in those two games? Maybe. I don't know. But I attribute a lot of those to the head writing staff that you see at Naughty Dog, who are still currently at Naughty Dog, you know? So we'll see. I'm hopeful. Do it. I hope it comes out. I hope it comes out. That's what my stake is.
you guys need to get a Last of Us, an online game out. It's what you want.
You want it? Yeah, do it. Yeah.
They do. They want it.
I think Naughty Dog has a history of making solid multiplayer
They do, yeah.
games.
That's why they wanted to kind of jump into it.
I
with
think
Last of Us Online.
You know, Uncharted 2 and beyond all had interesting multiplayer modes. Last of Us had one of the most interesting and fun multiplayer modes that I played that generation of consoles.
Yeah.
You know, and I still look back on fondly. You know, and those are always, you know, the side things. They're never the main objective. And I still believe personally that if The Last of Us Online ever actually made it to market, I'm sure I would have enjoyed it. You know, it just would have not been as good as The Last of Us Part 2 or any other game that they've released in the last 20 years.
Or Judas, Ken Levine's other game.
That's the game.
Yeah.
Judas. Yeah, we'll see. I don't have high hopes for that one either.
It was in development hell a couple years back.
Yeah, every game is.
A lot of games.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us know down in the comments how you feel about this Last of Us Online, quasi Last of Us Online game. And also, I forgot about this part. Do you want to be pulling ideas from Sony IPs right now when there's currently ongoing litigation and you know, lawsuits around stolen Sony IP? You know,
Can it be stolen if we never even saw what game it's stolen from?
yes,
How do we?
that's how that works. That's the basis of the lawsuit with the Horizon thing. Is because y'all showed us a gameplay demo, we rejected it. And now you're just going and doing it anyway.
You're comparing this guy to Motoram.
No, I'm just saying be careful.
What are the games?
I'm just saying be careful. You know?
People
I mean,
like
they're
suing.
probably smart enough to be like, hey, let's not make it look like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
That would be really stupid of us to make it look like The Last of Us. You know?
Just make it not a post-apocalyptic game. It'll be fine.
We'll see. Maybe it's like a Fight Club thing.
Be pretty cool, huh?
I mean, I'm not saying like pull Fight Club as an IP, but maybe you want to so that you can actually get publishing for it.
Yeah.
But that would be something quasi to that of like underground fighting ring, work your way up, narrative. We'll have narrative intertwined with it.
Like Absolver.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think you want to be in that Absolver / Sifu realm.
I would think so, yeah.
Ideally. But with like, a multiplayer function a la like a For Honor, There's like you can see the breeding going on. That's a weird word. You can see the breeding going on as to what would make this cool. We need to see the game.
Yeah.
Let us know, ladies and gentlemen, how you feel about this not Last of Us multiplayer game. Let us know how you feel about everything concerning Arkane Studios and, of course, Roblox. And let us know if you're excited about Gamescom. And, always double back if you're watching this, the several hours before Gamescom happens on how wrong we were about everything. And, of course, this is the TwoPennyGames cast, where each week me and Connor come to you with the nerdy news you need to know concerning the video game industry. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms. Links are in the description down below. Make sure you follow us on Substack, link down below. And make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you are here for September 1st, the Game Club review for Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. Where, Connor, what are we doing? We are revealing...
hard truth.
Hard truths. There will be hard truths revealed on September 1st. So make sure you follow us on Twitch and other platforms of the like to get on the train for that, so that you're here in person with us talking about Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. But until next time, have a great time. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.